Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're not giving you much of a break here. I'm very excited about our next panel. It features a couple of rock stars who created, real rock stars, not metaphorical rock stars. A couple of rock stars who created Power the World because they know that clean energy is critical to addressing the climate crisis. Now, today they're going to tell you about a new social game called Recharge. So please welcome Bahare Sayedi from UNDP, Florian Jergs from Kulu Interactive Entertainment, Dave Farrell from Linkin Park, and Rob Bourdon from Linkin Park. And this is going to be moderated by Pete Cashmore, founder of Mashable. So come on out, folks.
He introduced us already.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm very happy and excited and proud to present here today our recently and very successfully launched new Facebook game that we produced and designed for the past 2 years now in very close collaboration with Linkin Park and lots of support by United Nations foundations. And what you're about to see now in a few moments is a short video that we put together, especially for this purpose of this panel, to explain and tell the story and the concept of the game called Recharge, and how it also features not only a fun and entertaining gaming world, but also the projects and initiative of Power the World. The fundamental message of Recharge is that we should all learn how to share better the resources around the world and to make it our very own and personal priority to care about our planet's future. So please enjoy the video.
Our planet's resources are under siege. It's time for a change. The world needs your help. Recharge. Linkin Park is a Grammy Award-winning multi-platinum alternative rock band that has sold over 50 million albums worldwide and is the biggest band on Facebook, with over 55 million fans and counting. In 2005, Linkin Park founded Music for Relief, a non-profit organization dedicated to disaster relief and environmental projects. Power the World was launched by Linkin Park and Music for Relief to build awareness about the 1.3 billion people worldwide who have no access to electricity and fund clean energy solutions. Recharge supports Power the World by bringing attention to energy poverty and introducing players to the real-world clean energy solutions in the game. The world as we knew it no longer exists. Humanity has fought a series of wars over the planet's dwindling resources. Climate change and pollution have wreaked havoc on the planet. The attempt to improve humanity through genetic enhancements failed and created a new species, the hybrids, that took control over what few natural resources the planet had left. But now, humanity is fighting back.
Waiting for a light that never comes.
Team up with your friends and players around the world to free humanity. Recharge Earth's resources to save our future. Recharge includes information on Power the World clean energy projects and an opportunity for players to sign the Pledge for Sustainable Energy for All. Players can buy special Power the World items in-game, with proceeds benefiting Power the World clean energy tools. The message of the game is that Earth's resources are finite, and we must work together to recharge the world with clean, sustainable energy. Recharge was created in collaboration with the UN Foundation to support the UN Sustainable Energy for All effort and to bring attention to energy poverty and clean energy solutions. Vote now. Play Recharge at lprecharge.com and sign the pledge for sustainable energy for all.
All right, 55 million Facebook fans. How did you work that?
I don't know how we did that one.
Well, so let's start, and I'd love to ask you, Bahra, what is energy poverty? Maybe you can give us a little background on this project, what energy poverty is all about.
Okay, thanks, Pete. Yesterday, I'm glad that we heard about energy poverty in some of the interventions. And the number that we heard was 1.3 billion people do not have access to electricity. I wanted to emphasize, though, today that actually twice that number, 2.8 billion people, are still using traditional fuels like charcoal, wood, animal dung, and so on for cooking their food and heating their homes. So we're talking about 3 billion energy poor in the world. And that on its own causes about 3.5 million deaths per year because of the indoor air pollution and the toxic fumes that are generated by using these sorts of fuels. And that is more than the number of people dying from malaria and AIDS combined. So this is to give you the magnitude of the challenge that we're facing right now. And yesterday there were also a lot of other important issues mentioned, like access to water and sanitation, health, education, women's empowerment, and today we've heard about climate change. Now, I wanted to emphasize that none of these aspects, none of these issues can be resolved without energy. In fact, the Millennium Development Goals that were set in the year 2000 failed to address that, the linkages between energy and all the goals. So, for example, I lived in West Africa, Burkina Faso, for a number of years before moving to New York, and there a woman's day starts at 4 a.m. When she wakes up to prepare food for the family, and the first thing she does is she uses her own power with hands to grind the mill, and it takes hours and hours to do. Then if she wants water, she needs to walk full kilometers to fetch the water. Again, this is done by using her own motive power, carrying the water, digging it out from the ground, putting it on her head, coming all the way back home, and then she needs wood to make the fire, so she spends a lot of time on that. And all of this time could be saved if she had access to energy. Instead, she could go to school. Instead, she could take care of her kids. Instead, she could start up a business. So this is the relation between energy and poverty that we face. Now, as we move towards the post-2015 development agenda, it is important to recognize that energy is linked to all strands of sustainability, economic, social, and environmental. We've talked about climate change. If we want to address climate change, we need to look at how we generate, transmit, and consume energy. About 60% of the global greenhouse gases are due to the energy sector. And this is why us at the UNDP and the UN, we've been working on the Secretary General's initiative on sustainable energy for all, with 3 goals to be achieved by 2030. One of them is to have access to energy for all by 2030. The other one is doubling the share of renewables in the global energy mix, and also the third one is on energy efficiency. So we do invite everyone to join this movement and make energy poverty, eradicate energy poverty by 2030.
Fantastic. So how did Linkin Park get involved in this? Dave or Rob or?
Yeah, we had actually, we've been doing some work in Haiti, and we were fortunate enough to meet up with some representatives of the United Nations Foundation, and at a certain point talk with the Secretary General about some ideas that he had moving forward, this maybe being a year and a half ago. And they really opened our eyes a lot to what was going on with the situation with energy poverty around the world. And we're big believers in powers and numbers. You know, we see passionate young fans of music all the time that want to know what's going on. They're actively and avidly involved online. They're extremely active on our Twitters and on our Facebook account. And we just thought it was a great opportunity for us to be able to start helping them get plugged in, get involved with what we're passionate about, what we're doing. So we started the Power the World initiative in conjunction with the United Nations to start addressing these issues. And at this stage now, we're at the place where looking at it and thinking, how do we really engage our fan base? How do we engage that community of music listeners and tap into their passion? What better way than gaming? Mm-hmm. You know, we grew up playing video games, and those games had all different types of messages. And we thought, how fun would it be to try and to set up something that first and foremost was social and fun and fun to play, but then also in addition to that, really let people engage in a real way with issues that are going on around the world, and through the game itself actually start to do something about it.
So is the game just the start for Power of the World? What other initiatives are you thinking about?
Go ahead.
Oh yeah, well with Power of the World we have a few different initiatives now where our fans can actually go and donate like a solar suitcase in Uganda, or this, we did this really cool soccer ball that's in South America, mm-hmm. that kids can actually go out and play with this soccer ball during the day, and then it actually charges as it's turning around, and you can plug a light into it.
Yeah, we had that on yesterday.
Yeah, so
awesome.
You got all of that. So the other thing with the game too is like why people are actually playing the game. They can make donations in the real world as they're in this virtual world. And you know, our main goal, as Dave was saying, is to really just to continue to create awareness. We have a lot of fans that are looking to us to see what we're into and what we're doing. And we have, I think, one of the best fan bases in the world of really smart, really active fans that are passionate about doing good in the world. And you know, that's our passion, is to help save the environment.
And are there any specific successes you've seen with Recharge? What kind of examples? Who's playing it? What are they up to?
Well, there's certain things that are incorporated in the game itself, and one thing to me that was really powerful that I heard about with the solar suitcase in particular, I don't know if that's been spoken about yet here, but that's a project in Uganda where they bring in a solar-powered suitcase that will then be installed in medical facilities where they don't have reliable access to the power grid. And we were fortunate enough to hear back from a nurse in the area who had been used to delivering babies, emergency C-sections, that kind of stuff. When the situation arose and they didn't have power at a certain point, they'd be delivering babies either by candlelight or using and holding their cell phones in their mouths for lighting for the situation. And then with certain things like the solar suitcase, they're able to have a reliable unit where regardless of when the emergency or situation arises, they have power, they have lighting to be able to perform and do what they need to do in those extreme circumstances. And I think there's aspects to it for me as well where I think the main thing moving forward is really having people be informed about how important and how critical energy poverty is as an issue. For me, prior to learning about it, I didn't know the information. I wasn't as aware of what was going on and how serious it was. It didn't have the same pop as some of the other issues out there. But after seeing the numbers and after kind of seeing firsthand what was going on, it really became an extremely pressing issue for me. And I think looking at like the idea of 2030 and where we're moving to or want to move to in a 17-year period, and even for me projecting back like where I've come from in the last 3 to 5 years, not even going back 17 years, but how that's changed for me, I think there's a whole generation of people out there, you know, maybe here today, maybe watching online, who hopefully will get involved in the situation itself.
So what can they do right away? I mean, it's always nice at this conference to talk about, you know, what are the actions people can take, where can they get the game, that kind of thing.
I say it all the time, the easiest thing that people can do, it doesn't take money, it doesn't take anything like that, is to be aware of what's going on, find out the information, and share it with your friends. You know, in 17 years, some of these, if you're 13 years old and on your computer right now, you're going to be 30 and you're going to be a policymaker at that point. But if you're passionate about it at a younger age, and if you're dialoguing with your friends from all over the world and really using the social media that you have access to, then you're already doing awesome things in and of itself. If you have the ability at that point to go one step further, donate money to different organizations and causes, through the game itself, you can donate money to the Solar Suitcase, you can donate money to the projects in Haiti, you can get involved with Socket and with companies like that. And then even, I think, a step further is to start donating and being involved with your time. You know, it's something that I kind of grew up with, that if you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem. Mm-hmm. And the more people that are actually working towards being a part of the solution, I think the more traction these kind of great ideas can get. And I think it's going to take a huge subset of people to really push these ideas over the finish line. To get it to where it needs to be in 2013, it's going to take a lot more than us sitting here talking about. It's going to take the involvement and power and energy of everybody in this room, of people watching online.
Fantastic. Well, we're short on time, but Bahara, would you have any final thoughts on what people can do more generally about energy poverty?
Sure. Following up on the conversation here, what I wanted to emphasize is that although we are talking about energy poverty as an issue of those 3 billion energy poor, we do live in a world where we're all connected, and there's 7 billion of us, and we are all sharing this one planet, and this is where we're getting our needs met. So it's, in my opinion, this is not a problem of those people over there, but this is a problem of our world, and it's a problem that we all need to take responsibility for in addressing. And you know, if I just tell you, in New York State, there's 20 million of us, and we consume as much energy as 850 million people in sub-Saharan Africa. So this is not a matter of you know, just giving, but it's a matter of equity and social justice. And it does require collective action to resolve these issues. So one way of getting involved is the post-2015 discussions that are happening. And if you were here yesterday, you heard that these dialogues are very much open now, and this is very different than the Millennium Development Goals discussions. So get involved, get your voice heard, and help us help those who need to make sustainable energy a reality for everyone on this planet.
I think that's a great note to end it on. Thanks to our panelists. You can download Recharge on Facebook. All right, thank you.